My name is Kyle William Meek. I am 34 years young. I am a volunteer coordinator here at the Midnight Mission at the Volunteer Center, and I am a current participant here at the Midnight Mission Recovery Program. I've been here for about 113 days today. What brought me to the Midnight Mission? Well, I was out there getting loaded. Just a lot of craziness towards the end of it, like a lot of crazy scenarios, uh, including violence and death. I died actually before I came in. I died on Halloween of last year from an overdose of fentanyl. Yeah, that was a big turning point towards seeking help. Actually, it's weird that we're doing this interview today because today is 2 years today that my mother died. And her death really was the first part in like getting me to the road of recovery. Last year, when I almost died, it was like a big wake up call. Like, look, your family has already suffered a loss. Are you going to do that again to them? A lot of that was going on in my head, but I was still out there getting loaded. And I jump on the train and I don't know where I'm going. And I go to my dad's house. I'd never done that before. I never just went to where my dad was. Always thought it best to just do this on my own, suffer on my own, like deal with it on my own because I didn't want to be a burden or anything. And I got to his place in Long Beach and I was knocking on the door and I was just like, please let me in. Like I'm done. I'm done with all of this. And I was not in the right frame of mind. I thought that him and my sister were back there talking about me, saying that I was a screw up and that we shouldn't trust him. And I realized that he's not there with anybody, that he hasn't even been awake. He just woke up from me knocking right now. He had his earplugs in and he looked at me and he said, Kyle, come in. I realized two things in that moment is one, how scary this is that my mind is so messed up that I thought something was happening that obviously wasn't, and two, that after all these years of being away from my family, I thought I needed a job. I thought I needed a place. I thought I needed a car or something. I needed something to show for why I've been gone for so long, or at least something to like just not look like a total mess to them. And really, all they really wanted was for me to be there. I just looked at my dad and I said, I'm done and I need help and I don't know what to do and I'm scared. And I told him what happened and my dad has been the number one like main rock for me right now, and he's been unwavering in his love and compassion, and he was just like, we got to find you a program, we got to get you somewhere where you could be safe, we got to get you doing something different, you got to do something different. For the whole weekend that I was there, I was online looking up stuff and I found the Midnight Mission. And I'm going to be honest, it was the name. And I was like, midnight? I'm usually up at that time. I could get down with this. So I come here and I tried meeting with somebody here and it didn't really work out. So I actually had to camp out there for a minute. I got up and I tried again the next day, and then they said I saw somebody and I was excited that I saw somebody, I'm going to do something now. And then they're like, how long has it been since you used? And I was like, over the weekend. And they're like, oh, well, you need to go detox at Exodus, which I had never heard of before. And I was like, okay. So I go to Exodus and I get there, I do the whole, which was basically just sleeping the whole time. I just slept the whole time, had snacks in between. And then they said that I was ready to go back to the Midnight Mission. So I walk back to the Midnight Mission and I get seen and I come in and I've been here since. I've been experiencing homelessness since I was in Orange County. I lost my job as a candy maker at Disneyland because I was nodding out making character apples. That's not cute, and it was on stage and guests totally saw. So that's like, you're out of here. The money that I was leaning on got used up, and no more hotel rooms, and I didn't want anyone to know, so I actually was sleeping on the riverbed in a tent behind a bunch of trees, and I was very, very, very careful that no one would find out that I was homeless. I didn't want anyone knowing where I was, and I didn't want anyone knowing what my problems were. That was 10 years ago. I was born and raised in Orange County. There were some times where I was in other states, but mainly my Orange County, California has been my home. Because of the experience that I've gone through and my experience now in recovery, there is opportunities to become counselors for people and also help set up therapy groups. And that seems like something I could get behind. And in recovery, we like to be of service. And it was told to me by a friend that if you can find what you love to be of service to and get paid for that, you're on the right path. There is something I do want to do, and that's visit all 50 states and go to a meeting in each one. That might be a while before I do something like that. I think I need a foundation first, and that's what I appreciate being here for, because I could see the foundation that's being laid. It took me a minute, and it took 100 days or so before I started all that information of it hammering into my head. It finally broke through this thick skull, and I was like, okay. Now I see what's going on. Okay, I'm in on this. It's been the weirdest experience of my life because I've never really done recovery. This is my first time. So what my recovery looks like, or at least what I feel it's been, how I feel about it, is amazing. It's just the realization that all of this is me, and that this is what I'm really recovering from, is myself, and how to better manage myself, and how to better manage myself in the world. That was a hard one to swallow. I think the greatest lesson I learned coming into recovery, coming into the mission, getting back with my family, is ask for help. I didn't think that anybody would care that I was hungry, that I was scared, that I wanted to stop. It wasn't until I started asking for help, starting with my dad, telling him what was going on and that I need help, and then going online, and then, asking questions on all these phones and talking to a bunch of different, I talked to a lot of places before I found the Midnight Mission online. And asking all these questions, I started realizing that there's programs and all these things available, and I had no idea if I didn't just say, I need help. The number one advice that I can give anyone experiencing homelessness is to ask for help, and not feel ashamed about it, and not let pride or ego get in the way of you getting better, whatever that looks like for whoever it is. Don't let yourself get in the way of your progress.